Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Halbkast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Beautiful.
Tasty.
Yeah, very tasty. Extremely delicious.
Crunchy.
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 Yeah.
Like
that's some crunchy
like
audio.
Rice Krispies or bones, like tiny little bones.
Or gravel.
Rice
any
Krispies
food.
is actually bone. I bet you guys didn't know that. Those little bones.
Wait, what?
Tiny little bones.
What?
Rice Krispies are tiny little bones.
Tiny little bones.
Oh,
Tiny
snack,
little bones.
crackle,
Yeah.
and pop.
They're the little
elf
bones of the guys. Yeah, they're little
Yeah.
elf bones.
They're tiny little elf bones, yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, they regrow. Elf bones regrow pretty easily. So like,
Sure.
you remove the bones from Snap, Crackle, and Pop, and then they grow back, and they just keep sort of
Right.
siphoning out the
I mean,
tiny little bones.
You're just eating a bowl full of thousands and thousands of their little fingers. Their little
Yeah,
finger
let's
bones.
be clear. They produce it so much. They're basically in a farm in a cage constantly
Yeah,
getting
they're
their bones
hanging in
taken
they're hanging in like little hammocks, little
Yeah.
slings, and they're just dangling above a big old pail, and they just shoot finger bones out of their hands
Yeah,
and
constantly.
it hurts every time.
Yeah, it looks and sounds like torture, and it is in a
It
way.
is.
But
Yeah.
they're cartoons, so you
Yeah.
know how
They're
much we have to care.
cartoons, so luckily they have no legal protection in the
Exactly.
United
Yeah.
States.
So what does it matter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hello.
For all we know,
everyone.
to them, torture tickles. You know
Exactly.
Sorry, Tom.
No, you're fine.
You were like, all right, come on, let's start the show.
Let's start the show.
All right, bit's over. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're on an episode of STRIKEcast.
STRIKEcast.
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things, and the show that we've always done.
Yeah.
I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm the other one, David Bell.
I'm Cody. I'm a guest. Hello.
Cody.
Hey!
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
Is this
for
your first
welcoming me.
STRIKEcast?
This is my first STRIKEcast, yes.
Oh, boy.
Ooh,
I
what
know.
luck.
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
love movies.
Yeah, you do, right? How
Yeah.
are you?
I'm good. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. Our
That's
schedule
real
was a
good.
little different this week, so I had a little more time. I'm happy to be here and glad I can talk about the serial torture that we
Yes.
apparently
And movies.
engage in. And movies.
Yeah.
And movies, yeah.
Hey, what do you, hey, you have anything to plug?
There you go.
Hey, yeah. I host a show called Some More News. Mr. David Bell is the head writer for that show. If you like your David Bells, then check us out. Tom also writes for us. If you like the Tom, you check us out. And other people are involved. I co-host a podcast called Even More News with Katie Stoll. And I also am in a band called The Hot Shapes. Please check us out on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. It's The Hot Shapes. Google it.
I did check you out. Very good.
Oh, thank
Good
you.
band.
Thank you.
I really
Very-
enjoyed it.
Very hot and very shapely.
Hell
Yes.
yeah, I appreciate that. We're working on our second
Yeah.
album right now. It's a little,
Oh, that's awesome.
a little rougher, a little harder, but it's a lot of fun.
Nice. A little like a rougher, hotter shape.
Shape,
like a hot.
yeah. The rough
Okay.
hot shapes.
A slightly hotter shape, yeah, exactly.
Nice. Cool.
It just
cool,
has
cool,
it's
cool.
a shape with messy hair.
Right.
It's the rough shape.
Like Josh Hartnett.
Exactly.
Hair? All right.
Look, we've all
Good,
been in
good,
kindergarten.
good.
We know about the shapes.
Yes, that's true. Geez, we got some interesting trailers. I'm going to do a more hype week soon because that's kind of building up, but that's not what this week is. But before we get to trailers, we have to thank some producers.
We sure do, Dave. We sure do.
So a big old sloppy thank you to @NerdNumbers. Thank you very much. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to AJ. Thank you. Thank you to Andrew Howe. Deck the Halls with Blood. Thank you. Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Boodleson.
Thank you. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thank you.
Thank you to Broccoli Loves the Meat Millie.
Thank you.
Thank you to Burrito wants you to drink water, hit the gym, and do the ska, because they loves y'all.
Pick it up.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thanks.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to Davey, the ghost of East Las Vegas, Francis.
Thank you.
And thank you to David, Knife Boot.
Knife Boot.
Knife Beat.
Indeed. All right. So I'm starting to get really precise here in our trailers. This is the week. The same week this is coming out, the same weekend.
Okay.
These are the top 10 films, not counting the ones we already covered. There was still The Fugitive was still in there. Of September of 1993, which is 50 years ago. And we're starting with number 10, all the way going down to number 1. Doing the countdown. Here we go. Starting with Into the West, a movie I never saw.
Oh, man. This is an Irish as hell movie about Gabriel Byrne, 2 little kids, and a white horse that came out of the sea.
It's so Irish. This is the most Irish movie I've ever seen.
The Irish goddamn. It's like The Secret of Ronan-ish, and then this movie. Those are the two most Irish movies.
Brendan Gleeson is in this.
Of course he is. Of course. Yeah. I didn't even need to see him in the trailer to know that he was in this movie.
It's every actor from Ireland, which
Irish
includes...
actor is in this movie.
Yeah, Cole Meany. Of course Cole Meany's in this.
It's Cole Meany in one of those little shepherd's caps, too, because of course that's what he's wearing.
Yeah, I lost my fucking mind when he showed up in this, obviously. This person directed, I'm looking, Harry Potter. This person
It's Mike Newell.
Yeah. They did a bunch of stuff. But it's funny. It feels like once every few years there's one of these, right? Like Irish indie.
There used to be. I feel like this is definitely horse movies, especially in the early to mid 90s. We had a lot of these horse movies.
Why did we do that?
To celebrate the noble horse.
I guess so.
I don't know. I was thinking that watching the trailer. And definitely horse movie is a specific genre, obviously.
Right.
You got your Wild Hearts Can't Be Brokens, etc.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Exactly. Hell yeah. But I feel like there's also a lack of just one animal bringing people together.
Yeah.
Well, not just horses, but just an animal.
It's usually a dog or a horse, right?
Yeah.
The hierarchy, it feels like we do dog, then horse, and then miscellaneous after that.
Some sea animals and things, and yeah.
Yes, dolphins or whales every now and then will show
up.
up.
I think.
Give Bill Murray an elephant.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe part of it is we had all these horses laying around, right? And like dogs, they're trainable. Where they could hit marks and stuff, and that's why you don't see cat movies as much, right? Because cats, we love cats, but they're not filmable.
Right. Every cat you've seen, it's kind of like babies in a movie. Every cat you've seen in a movie was played by 6 cats.
6 cats trained to do literally one
specific thing. Yeah, it's the only thing they will do. No, I think that's probably true. Definitely for dogs. I think for horses, because a lot of these horse movies are based on Black Beauty, Warhorse, sure, Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. This story feels like it's based on something, but anyway, horses, especially 100 years ago, used to represent hope for the future, right? Because you can put a horse is a vehicle too, in addition to a companion.
Yeah,
there's hope, there's freedom, there's a lot of feelings.
Right, freedom, right. And that's kind of the point of this movie, where it's these 2 little kids are using this horse to try to go west for some damn reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's like a radio flyer, but living.
Yeah. So I feel like because of what they represent in that way, horses just get wrapped up in a lot of fables and fairy tales and folklore and stuff.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Horses are one of the few colleagues we have for animals that we are like work buddies. Like Aragorn is working with that horse, you know, like a horse.
Right.
Because you got to get places, and you're like, I'm going to need that horse, and you kind of have to work with the horse. And it's like it's that and like dogs, and that's pretty much it.
Like sled dogs, things like that. There are work dogs, but even then, most of the dog movies are just like my companion, my buddy.
Yeah.
It's not that sort of like the co-worker aspect that you're talking about, which is true of horses. It's like everything. It's like, this is my friend, this is my vehicle, this is my co-worker, this is like a partner almost.
Yeah, I can store stuff on it.
Yeah, if you own a farm, it like runs half the mission. It's like your horse is your whole life.
Yeah, worst case scenario, that's a meal right there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're in a bind.
Times is tough.
Yeah.
I also wonder if there aren't like individual animal movies anymore, because we bought a zoo, which is just all the animals, and they got out of the way. I haven't seen We Bought a Zoo.
That's
I just
true.
assumed it's about all the animals, like bringing them together.
Yeah,
That's fair.
That's what happens.
He jumped on that grenade for us.
Yeah. Well, there was that Channing the Tatum
Dog.
movie.
Yeah, Channing
Dog,
Tatum.
Which the most surprising thing about that was there hadn't been a movie named Dog yet. Apparently, that was like, oh yeah, you could just call one of these Dog.
You're talking about not Jupiter Ascending, where he plays a dog.
No, this is a movie where he has to.
Where he befriends a dog.
He
and has
befriends a dog with
to take it,
PTSD.
like
Oh,
across
just called
the
Dog.
country.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Like
Just
pig.
taters and a
like your
dog.
pig,
Yeah.
like your okay.
But Cole Meany and a horse, and it seems to be a rogue horse. Like the horse goes on a rampage of some sort with the kids on it.
It came out of the ocean, Dave.
It also
it did.
went through a wall apparently at some point.
Yeah,
yeah.
it might be magical.
Yeah.
This trailer also has that voice, the Story for the Ages voice, which I forgot existed in the 90s, where it's like you don't have the intense voice person, you don't have the comedy voice person. You need like an in-between. It's the indie movie voice person, where it's like...
It's gritty, but it's still lighthearted. It's got a little bit of both. Yeah.
It's like kind of horny. It's like a little... it's romantic, right? It's for a romantic
Yes. Yeah.
movie. Or a horse movie. It's definitely for a horse movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're one and the same.
Speaking of romance, Dave.
This next trailer.
Wow.
Yeah! Killing it!
It's not a segue if you take a victory lap.
It's not a good segue if you take a victory lap.
I mean, listen, I'm not the one who acted like they just won the lottery. You guys all reacted like it struck gold.
It was incredible.
All right, let's talk about True Romance.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah. Was Brad Pitt already like my understanding was when
he was on the rock, like he had done Cool World and California. I think California's 90. Well, actually, California was this year. It was 93.
All right, because like he is featured in this.
It's
They're
so
like, and
funny.
Brad Pitt, and I'm like, he's in one scene,
part of the
2
ensemble.
maybe.
Yeah, he's in like 2 or 3, but it's a very small role in True
Yeah,
Romance.
it's not like, because also that's like kind of a different era too, right? Where it's like we have a lot more fewer but like more specific like famous actors,
right?
And there's kind of like a choice where it's like, all right, you're the one, now we're gonna make you a star,
right? And it was currently Christian Slater. Had he done like Cuffs? Was he like
Cuffs had come out? Yeah,
this seems post Cuffs.
This
does seem post Cuffs because it's like gritty Christian Slater.
Yeah, exactly. There's a vibe for him. It's like, oh, you did Cuffs, now you're this guy.
Also, the Val Kilmer of it all, you never actually see Val Kilmer's face, I believe, in this movie.
I don't think so.
Right?
I was surprised
that's true.
that his name even popped up. I was like, wait, he's in this? I don't remember that.
This is, I haven't seen this in a while. And this has that Boondock Saints Scarface vibe where you feel like, oh, this movie's a red flag. But I don't remember it actually being that. You know what I mean?
It's very Tony Scott. I also haven't seen it in a while, but it's exactly the movie you would expect if Quentin Tarantino wrote a Tony Scott movie.
Yeah, it's almost like when they're like from the director of Top Gun. I constantly forget it's Tony Scott because it's not really like anything he did. He also apparently Roger Avery also has a credit on this as a writer. So I guess it's a co-write. I mean, I want to see it again. For me, I remember it being like natural born killers, but less depressing. Like
well,
more of
the two leads, like Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette in this movie, they're not like the trailer pushes it as like Bonnie and Clyde, but they're not like unlikable.
That's what I remember.
Oh,
I remember them being not like they're like scumbags,
like,
but I didn't hate them
kind
in any
of
way.
like Christian Slater's a little slimy, and Alabama Patricia Arquette's crazy, but like they're not like they're not really like unlikable. So it's it's a little you're right, it's not anywhere near as much of a bummer as natural or as upsetting as Natural Born Killers.
For
It's
sure.
it's a Tarantino movie. It's a Tarantino crime movie.
Yeah, where it's like serendipity and like all these weird things happen.
Double, triple crosses,
Yeah.
seemingly disparate plot points coming together. It's a pretty standard what would become like the crime movie template of the 90s because of Tarantino. It
has also. They don't even mention fucking James Gandolfini's in this as one of the thugs.
Wow,
There's
I
like
don't remember him at all.
Oh yeah, he's in it. Michael Rappaport, Samuel Jackson's in it. It's like it is stacked. And of course Gary Oldman playing a real
Kevin Corrigan, I believe, is in this in the background.
Oh yeah,
probably.
That would make sense.
Yeah, Gary Oldman playing just fucking white dude with dreadlocks, and it's like, my goodness.
Gary Oldman's
It's
so funny in this movie.
It's the fucking scene that Barry's scene partner does in the first episode of Barry.
I haven't seen that.
The guy that
you're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
the guy that he's there to murder is doing the Gary Oldman scene from True Romance.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Side note, Dave, you should watch Barry. It's incredible.
Watch Barry. Yeah.
I'll watch Barry. I'll watch it.
It's so good.
Man.
That's not what we're talking about now. But and I don't know. Is that breaking the strike to say go watch Barry? Or
Right. The one thing I remember that was
already
weird about this movie, and I know it's just because of the casting, is that Dennis Hopper's in a position where he's like victimized, and I remember being like, I just can't picture that. Like I can't finish a situation where Dennis Hopper, it's Dennis Hopper, and it's like who could possibly do that? Christopher Walken. And it's like, yeah, that's it.
that's the one guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
who can out creep out Dennis Hopper. I
Right, 'cause
guess
it's-
Christopher Walken.
I was thinking about I'm thinking ahead to Reservoir Dogs, and it's like it would be like if Lawrence Tierney was the one that Michael Madsen tied to the chair. It's like
Right.
I'm not buying this. I
Yeah,
don't think
exactly.
you can intimidate Lawrence Tierney.
Yeah, it's weird casting, but
Yeah. Speaking of Christopher Walken, I just have to say I love how the voice guy says his name in this trailer. It's everyone is normal, and then suddenly at the end it's like Christopher Walken.
Walken.
Walken is how he
The
says
voice
it. I love
actor
it.
where
So
they're like, so you haven't heard of this actor? Huh?
You've never seen. Yeah,
You never heard of
this is new
Christopher
for
Walken,
you.
or have you not heard of the word walk?
Right? Like,
Walken.
yeah, Walken. It's so good. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really unimportant, but you know.
And then of course,
I just wanted to
Thomas
call
Sizemore.
out, the Tom Sizemore appearance in this trailer is a real jump scare.
he's always a shocker, and like the thing about Tom Sizemore is like he's a great thug and stuff, but he always surprises me when he's in a movie. And it's nothing against him; he's a good-looking guy, but he always kind of looks like a grip. Like that, maybe they like hired to
Or
be
like
in the
wandered
movie.
on.
Yeah,
and
wandered in.
we
I'm
can't
just
cut
like,
around him, so
it's Tom Sizemore again. What is he? And he's in everything.
Yeah.
And it's like I love. He's been in over 200 films.
Oh my God.
And
And he
again,
plays the same guy in all 200 of
That's
them.
the thing. And I liked Tom Sizemore. I have to make that clear.
So did I.
But
Yes,
I
so
am
did I.
lightly baffled by that. Does he deal drugs? Like, is it where they're we
mean,
got to get Tom on set
you
because
need
he
to
has
make sure
the,
he's around. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's certainly done the opposite end of that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very familiar with that.
Yeah.
True romance. And of course, I mean Patricia Arquette.
Yeah, she's
we didn't
great.
even mention.
She's great.
She's great in this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the man without a face.
Oh man.
So-
Is this
man, guys.
Mr. Gibson's first director?
I'm not sure if it's his first. I feel like he might have done like Forever Young.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
this is definitely
Wait,
like
did
among his first. I'm not
Yeah.
positive if he directed Forever Young. I feel like he might
Okay.
have.
He might have, because also there's a shot in this trailer for Man Without a Face that's like, that's Forever Young. Specifically when they're flying the plane, I'm like, Forever Young.
No, Steve Miner directed Forever Young. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So
Did you guys? Did we talk about this already? Did we know that Forever Young was written by J.J. Abrams?
What?
that movie is fucking nuts. Yeah.
No.
Sure
that
was.
makes a lot of sense. That adds up to me. That's so
I'm-
funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was looking it up, and it's like written by Jeffrey Abrams. I was like, wait.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh, buddy. That's so funny.
Man, I loved
this-
Forever Young.
Yeah.
Is this like
me
based
too.
off a book or anything?
Not
I like
to my
Forever Young too, by the way.
knowledge.
That's a great film. Yeah, it just feels like it's based off something.
Yeah, it's
Because the man without a face,
does.
like I'm like he has a face, and that seems like in like an old timey like that
It is.
seems
It's
like an
based on a
old
novel.
book
Isabel
about someone.
Holland's novel from 1972.
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, okay.
It does have that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to point out who the child is in this.
It's Nick Stahl.
Do
It's
it. Yeah.
Nick Stahl. it's fucking John Connor in Terminator 3. And other people.
And
other things as well.
yellow bastard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that yellow
And,
bastard.
Nick
Sin City.
fucking Stahl.
Yeah, it's wild. I love also this trailer. So, God, we need to bring good trailers back. This trailer obviously has the voice doing its voice thing, and it's like Justin McLeod is living in isolation or whatever, and then it's like, meanwhile, Charles Norstad is this, and it's like, wait, that's a child. The child character, I've like
Right.
saying a full name of like the child character is very odd to me in a trailer.
yeah.
Like Charles Norstad. Oh, you mean that little kid, Chuck?
Yeah,
Like,
his name apparently is Charles E. Nordstad, and I'm like, just make him Charles E. Cheese. Come on, it was right
yes,
there.
you're so close.
Charles
Entertainment
Norstad.
Norstad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Holy shit!
It was just very
this
off-putting
is-
to hear like
I saw this
the
once as a
full name
kid.
of like
I feel no need to see this again. I love that in the feel good trailer he uses the R word.
Oh my God, it's so
like
funny.
in the first 30 seconds, and I'm like,
Well, I mean,
Jesus
you-
Christ.
Also, females. He drops
Yes.
the females. It's so funny. It's like, I don't like living with 3 females.
Yeah,
Who make
And-
me
and-
feel like an R word.
A little
Yeah.
Ben
God.
Shapiro.
exactly. He really feels like a little Ben Shapiro, and then his and then he's under the wing of Mel Gibson. I'm like, man,
It's
that's not good.
oh yeah, you're in the wrong place, pal.
Mel Gibson's like, let me tell you about
so funny.
females.
It's,
like Jesus Christ.
I do remember really liking this movie as a little kid, but like, there's
Yeah, I
no
saw
way.
it
It's
once,
impossible.
but-
There's no
Yeah, I
way
remember
you
thinking
can watch
it's
this in 2023, right?
Fine.
No.
Probably not.
I would
as-
pay to watch it.
Yeah.
What was that,
Yeah,
Cody?
just I don't know if you wanted to bring up because I remember seeing this like pretty young, like, oh, that's a fine movie, you know, the famous actors in it, a movie, you know,
Yeah,
Right.
a film.
yeah. But I do remember that as you point out in the doc, the main conflict of the film is that like they think he's molesting this child.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I didn't
That's not
know that.
what happens in the trailer.
Nope.
Yes.
Like,
And here's the thing: I kind of need to watch this now because are they acting like that's like a bad thing to do? Like, if a little boy was going to this like this guy's house in the woods every day, I would check in on that, right? Like, I would be like, what's that all about? Is that like, are they like are the people doing the accusation like depicted as like bad?
They're
for
depicted
doing
as
that?
they're depicted as being prejudiced. I couldn't
like
find the
prejudice,
word.
Right, because
right.
of his face.
Because of his face, yeah.
Yeah.
because I feel like it's not dealt with in the way of like, oh, we're concerned that our child is like going off in the woods. It's more like this like ugly man is alone, and they sort
Right.
of like they don't like necessarily investigate it well.
Right,
I
they're like,
think.
if he was good looking, it'd be fine.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah.
But it's been so long. I feel like I haven't seen this since it came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to see this again because this is such a like a unique artifact.
It really is. It really
yeah.
is, man.
Yeah, because I've always known this film exists, but I don't think about it. You know, why would I think about it?
Yeah, why would you? Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of movies I always knew existed, The Joy Luck Club is our next trailer. I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
seen this movie, but I just have to point out that we have the entire O'Brien family represented here today because Rosalind Chow is, in fact, Keiko O'Brien on Star Trek, TNG, and DS9, and she is, I didn't realize, one of the main characters in this movie. So
Nice.
I'm glad we got Chief O'Brien and Keiko O'Brien represented. Molly O'Brien is not in these trailers, as far as I know, though. Has either of you guys seen this movie?
I've not. No.
I have, but when it came out, this was like, you notice like the trailer is all about like from the novel by Amy Tan, and they're really focusing on the novel. Like, if you guys remember, this book was like everywhere in the early 90s. It was like one of the big hits of the early 90s.
This is one of those, right, where it's like, we have these today, right, where these movies are huge for like a year and then we just kind of forget about them. Mm-hmm. This is one of those, and I want to watch this because I don't know, it looks good, and also like I might be wrong, but this feels like one of those movies like Fried Green Tomatoes where like something fucking nuts is in it, and like I don't know what. Does that make sense?
I can't really remember. I seem to remember it's just the story about these different generations of women and their adult daughters, kind of like.
I mean, that's fine too.
I really only had like, it's one of these movies that like my mom and my aunts rented, and we all just, it was like Cody was just saying, a movie. So I just like sat down and watched it.
Right.
Like
it's like Beaches or something.
10-year-old self.
Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, the adults are watching people talk at each other. So
right.
Yeah.
And it's just, I remember it being one of those movies about like adult drama, capitalized.
It's like coming of age and shit.
A little bit later than coming of age. It's like, it's more about like reconciling with your parents in middle age. Kind of when they're in middle age. I don't know. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I want to watch it again. I want to watch it for the first time. Because this trailer, I was like, this looks really compelling. Like and it might just be about, what you're saying, just people in a room talking.
As I recall, it is just about these different women and their, like, it's just about a couple generations of families,
Yeah, their relationships with, their
it's like,
family members.
Fried Green Tomatoes feels like an apt comparison, but like not entirely, but like kind of that like vibe where it's just sort of about like, it's just kind of about
probably not
like,
going to eat anybody in this.
Right. It's about just like the lives of these characters. Nobody goes to space, I don't think.
I mean, you never know.
That's true.
You never know. Well, you will know if you watch it, but
when you watch
I'm going to watch it. Yeah. Everybody check out the Joy Luck Club.
Hot ticket, the Joy Luck Club, 1993.
Any other thoughts on the Joy Luck
Just
Club?
that, like, in my memory, like every book in the bookstore around this time was either the Joy Luck Club or the Client.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the
100%.
Two fucking books. And then something by Michael Crichton.
It's the fucking Da Vinci Code of it all,
exactly.
where like it's such a flash in the pan.
Patterson Airport books.
Yeah. This next one, boy, didn't know this existed. Undercover Blues.
I have seen this movie probably 25 times.
Hell yeah.
I love Undercover Blues.
I'm aware of the title, and like I just didn't know who was in it, the premise, or anything.
I just love that in the 90s, every comedy trailer had the same music, no matter what it was about. It's just like, this might as well be the music for like the Uncle Buck trailer, where it's just like, and they're like, they're doing like fucking spy shit, and it's like bluegrass playing. I'm like, why is this happening?
Yeah, they all had the same wacky track that they used.
Yeah, the same track, and just like, it's, I mean, I miss it in a way where it's just like, they just hammer in the premise immediately. They just tell you, here's literally what the movie is about. Here's the main character. Here's their situation. Here's what they get themselves into. And then here's the rest of the movie. And we need more of that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I guess so. This looks like it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Essentially, it's sort of. It's Dennis Quaid and Kathleen Turner playing former CIA operatives, I guess, or like secret agents, really. And they're trying to retire, and because they have a new baby, but they get dragged into another mission, wouldn't you know it, just by happenstance.
Right.
It's very like Beavis and Butthead Do America. I know that's not the most obvious example, but it's it's just they're minding their own business, and then a sweeping conspiracy happens around them and sweeps them up in it.
It's the director of Steel Magnolia's My Blue Heaven. He also did Boys on the Side, and then he died. But
I mean, would that I had that body of work? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I remember it being pretty funny, and there's the thing that I wrote it down on the dog, but I was so excited to tell you guys is the The thug that you see them beating up several times in the trailer, they beat him with a stroller. They knock him into an alligator pit in the zoo. That is Stanley Tucci.
Oh man,
playing a Hispanic thug named Muerte.
Because in the 90s we were fine with
it's fine.
this.
Yeah,
Tucci,
Ridiculous.
close enough.
close
Close
enough.
enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick him in brown face. We're going.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
I also have to note it's the director of Footloose too, which is probably the
yeah.
most important one to point out.
Sure.
Yeah.
One more tidbit.
Oh, yeah,
that
please.
scene where Dennis Quaid is pummeling Stanley Tucci with a stroller. Stanley Tucci shows up in that alley to rob Dennis Quaid with a partner. His partner is played by Dave Chappelle.
Holy moly.
Wow. 93.
Dennis Quaid knocks
damn.
Dave Chappelle out.
Damn.
God damn, this movie is out of control. It also felt like in the poster too, it feels like a sequel, and it's not, is it?
No.
Like if you look at the poster, I'll you know what, I'm gonna link it on the doc. It looks like a Look Who's Talking situation where like the first poster was just their faces, and now they add a child.
I can describe it to you exactly. It's all three of them standing together. They're holding the baby. They all have sunglasses on, and they're surrounded by guns.
Oh no, this is a different one, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's similar, where they all have sunglasses, and it just feels like I was like, is this a sequel to a movie I never saw called like, I don't know what, Undercover Blue, like one, like they did an Aliens.
Yeah. Or like
but-
Look Who's Talking vibe, right?
Yeah,
they kinda
yeah.
change the title a little bit, but not like a sequel does these days.
Right.
Oh, man. Another exciting thing to tell you guys. Larry
Please.
Miller is in the movie as a Cajun police detective.
What?
Yes. And he is going all in. It's not like a light
fucking
Cajun
shit.
accent.
This movie's out of control.
It's
This
so
is
good.
It's one of those movies like we did that Brainstorm movie last
hell
time
yeah,
with Christopher Walken,
Brainstorm.
where it's like all these celebrities in a movie I'd never heard of doing just this like where it's just like when did this happen? Why didn't anybody tell me that this happened? Like and yeah, I'm gonna have to. And Tom Arnold's here. Like Jesus fucking Christ.
It's kind of like a sketch of the character he plays the following year in True Lies.
My goodness. Yeah. Gonna have to watch
Incredible
this.
film.
Yeah. Speaking of things we have to watch, Warlock,
man.
the Armageddon.
Unreal. What's going on? Why?
So, did you hear? I knew about Warlock from just the poster, like the video store
Videos
cover.
in the video store, yeah. And also frequent advertisements in comic books that I would read.
Right.
But yeah.
I never. Has anybody seen
No.
Warlock?
No, I've never seen Warlock.
Yeah, that's an oversight, right? Because I'm looking at this and it feels very Wishmaster. Like he turns someone into art, and the art's like, no, kill me. It's the director of Waxwork, and one of the Hellraisers. So it's probably real gnarly.
Oh yeah, man, Waxwork, hell yeah! Why haven't we seen all of the Warlocks, Dave?
That's what's really bothering me. Like, why haven't I seen Warlock?
Do you want
It's a
to
big
pause
blind spot.
and go watch it and come back?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. Warlock is directed by Steve Miner, who is the director of Friday the 13th.
Yep.
At least part 2, right?
Not the first one. The first one's Sean S. Cunningham, but
He
he
also
one of
directed
them.
Halloween H2O, my favorite film, and Forever Young.
And Forever Young.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. God.
Hell yeah, Steve Miner.
Oh fuck! What's happening?
Shit,
What is going on?
man. Man, rest in paradise, Julian Sands.
Yeah.
I hope he finally got that Warlock power he was searching for.
Or that medallion. Wasn't he in the medallion? Didn't we just see him in the medallion?
He was in the medallion, yeah.
Yeah. That
Was
a
he in the
shame.
medallion?
Wait, maybe I'm wrong.
Man, I can't remember. I was really high when we got to that movie.
You can't just say stuff like that. Like, medallion, come
Hold
on.
on. I
You can't just be saying Julian Sands is in the medallion.
I think he's not. Hold on. I'm googling the medallion. Sorry,
Oh, he
everybody.
directed Soul Man too.
Steve Miner? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was. He was the bad guy in the medallion. Okay. Thank Christ. Yeah. It looked like Julian
You know what else
Sands,
Steve
yeah.
Miner directed? Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
Yes.
What?
Steve Miner, you fucking hero.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I feel like he did a Highlander too. Seems like one of those guys.
he seems like one of those guys.
like a
He's
a
one of those
Highlander
quiet
making
heroes.
son of a
Highlander
bitch.
out of him.
He's a quiet hero of the 80s and 90s.
Lake Placid.
My Father
Yeah.
the Hero.
Wait, did he do Lake Placid?
Lake
He
Placid.
sure did.
Oh shit!
Directed
Yeah.
some Felicity. That's a J.J. Abrams.
Steve, he's like
Project, yeah.
the equivalent of a that guy actor. He's the Tom Sizemore of directors.
Yeah.
Where you're like, how are you? You're everywhere. Jesus, good for him.
Day of the Dead.
Damn. Is he still going? He's still going.
Yeah.
He's still going.
Doing,
He's still
doing a
going
lot
strong.
of TV mostly, but yeah.
He's doing something called The Exorcism at Lincoln High, which I'm guessing will be pretty straight to streaming, but maybe not.
Maybe
not.
Maybe not.
Maybe this time next year.
Probably, but maybe not.
His last film was the 2008 direct-to-DVD Jessica Simpson film Private Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous.
My goodness.
So, you know.
Good.
Steve Miner doing the work. Doing the
Putting
work.
it in, yeah. Big
Yeah.
Bully. Gosh.
Big
Wow.
Bully. I kind of like Big Bully.
That's fine. I haven't seen it, but you know,
He's like,
more power to
man,
Big Bully.
Steve Meyer. It's just like you need someone to direct something. He's your guy. He's like
He's your guy.
He's like Liev Schreiber in fucking Sum of All Fears, where it's just like you need him to dirty work done. You just grab him. You grab him. You go. You're gonna make Big Bully. That's what you're doing.
Get over in Big Bully. We need this movie to exist.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm on it. I know exactly what
so
you
that
need.
so that I can stump people at trivia nights 30 years
Yeah.
in the future. Speaking of which, let's move on to the next movie.
To the Age of Innocence, a Scorsese
Age of
film.
Innocence, yes.
I haven't seen this. It seems to just be Daniel Day-Lewis stringing along Winona Ryder and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's just him like being like, "You're the only one for me, baby," to both of them. Is that what this movie is about?
I've not seen it.
I can't
I
speak
mean,
to it,
it's-
but that is what it seems to be implied in the trailer.
Everything I've gleaned from this movie, from the trailer, and just from like osmosis over the years, is that it's basically Bridgerton, but in America.
Okay. It's wild that Scorsese.
Like not the same time period though. Apparently, this takes place in 1870s. Okay, so not the same time period as Bridgerton.
Right. This was back when like Scorsese was. I mean, he's always been kind of adventurous, and you forget that. But it's like, you know, he's known for one specific type of film, and it's like, man, like what a. I don't know. He
Wide
did this right
range,
after
yeah.
Cape Fear. He did. Yeah. And right
it's
before
just-
Casino.
It's just like I don't know. He wanted to do a sweeping period
That's what I mean.
drama with like some actors and shit. Like got Daniel Day-Lewis and Michelle Pfeiffer and Winona Ryder running around. And this
Yeah,
shit.
when you look at his career, you realize like he's kind of done everything. He's done horror. He's done kids movies.
He's done
romance.
four
Videos.
Yeah.
He's done 4 mob movies, so that's all anybody talks about.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, but he's done he's done sports
he's made like
movies.
every
Videos,
type of film.
documentaries,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's in comedies, right?
I think Bringing Out the Dead, isn't that technically a comedy?
Yeah, I feel like he's
I
done
would say
some
it's real
funny
dark.
movies, but I don't know if comedy is the actual.
Is the king
genre
of comedy?
it?
I haven't seen that. Is that about comedy?
It's black comedy, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
dark
listed as comedy. What about hold on?
It's
Sorry, now I'm
it's
just going through
Joker.
his career.
It's almost exactly Joker.
It is just Joker. I assume Hugo's not a comedy.
He did After Hours, which I didn't realize he did After Hours, not the
The Crack Show?
internet series. No,
How'd they get him?
yeah, man. I know this is
Age
like
of
the
Innocence.
dumbest statement. It's like, man, he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a talented
I have
director.
it
You should get more
every
work.
time. Yeah, every time I like watch one of his new movies, I have the same reaction. I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, we know he's good, but then you
Right.
watch it and you're like, man.
Then you watch it and also, or even just like look at like the list and like see the range, see like just the sheer amount of movies that he's directed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
And this-
and they're all like, you can, there are a few maybe you've never heard of, but for the most part, you can go, that's a great movie. That's a great movie. That's a
Yeah.
great movie.
Fucking Color of Money. And this, I mean, yeah, like, is this the beginning of his brief relationship with Daniel Day-Lewis?
I think this
How
is
many
his
movies
first
did
Daniel
I think it's the
Day-Lewis
first one,
movie.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it was nominated for 5 Oscars. Winona got an Oscar nom for this movie.
Wow. It's also always weird to see Daniel Day-Lewis just like play a dude. And I'm like, where's all the shit on you?
A
Where's all the
relatively normal dude.
Yeah, like what? Method acting, just a regular guy.
Right. It's like almost alarming to see him just like sitting down regularly at like lunch. It's like, oh,
yeah.
What's
you're
happening?
a man. You're a human man.
Right. That's not right.
It's like seeing a clown without the makeup on or something, where it's like he's always got a bunch of shit on him.
Or he's doing something that's just like so intense and like.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's just like, I don't know which woman I should marry.
Yeah, what shall I do?
All right, relatable. Surprisingly relatable, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Usually you're glowering about who to murder for oil.
I was going to say, like, are you going to beat one of them to death with a bowling pin? You make me nervous, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Just your presence in a film makes me nervous.
It's the only makes you put a top hat on him. You're like, oh shit!
Fuck! Get out of
The
here.
only person ever who put a top hat on. Like, oh shit! It just got 10 times worse.
He is the only person who's scary and a top hat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Striking Distance because
Let's do it.
from the director of Roadhouse, who's by the way, his name is Rowdy.
Rowdy.
His name is
Rowdy
Rowdy Harrington. Yeah. I never saw this movie, and I'm realizing that's a big oversight. And judging from the trailer, it seems to be lightning involved. Tom Sizemore's there.
Tom Sizemore shows up
Of
again.
course, it's the early to mid '90s. Tom Sizemore will not be gone.
Yeah,
it's a crime movie in the '90s. He's there.
Yeah.
Like he's in it.
What?
It's a taser. The killer uses a taser.
Well, that's not gonna
Striking
kill them.
Distance. Yeah.
I think he also. I can't remember. It's been I have seen this movie several times, but it has been probably 25 years since I watched it last.
Right.
I do remember the story is Bruce Willis is a former cop, and I mean they give you all this in the trailer, but like they were chasing a serial killer. He tracked it down and found out it was a cop that was doing it, and so he kind of lost his career because he busted the guy instead of like wiping and sweeping it under the rug or something.
Okay.
So now he's just like boat police. But wouldn't you know it, bodies are showing up in the river again with the same
he's
MO.
McNulty.
Yeah.
Season 2 McNulty. They put him on boat.
They put him on the boat. Yeah.
Named him Tom Hardy and put him on the boat.
Yeah.
His name is Tom Hardy.
That is amazing. That is an action guy name. Like that sounds like
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. They need to remake this with Tom Hardy as Tom Hardy.
Oh,
They should.
Tom Hardy is Tom Hardy. If you're familiar with the movie Striking Distance, you know, so in the original, the main character is Bruce Willis, but the name of the character is Tom Hardy. That's why we're making this movie.
Yeah. Also, Sarah Jessica
trailers
Parker.
are back.
I just have to note that the conflict in this seems to be that he's partnered with a woman, and that's it. That
so
she's
funny.
a
My
woman.
God. I never
That's
done this
Sarah
before.
Jessica partner.
Right.
Yeah, and they're like, "Can you believe it? It's like being partnered with a dog. Like it's just like a woman cop."
Right.
I mean, you
Right, like it's like there's a movie from like the mid to like early '90s called Woman Cop.
Yeah.
Got Tom
woman
Hanks there,
playing
like,
basketball?
Yeah, right.
I just watched
Yep.
I just watched The Bone Collector. And that's one of those movies that like Hannah walked in on it and like witnessed a scene with Ed O'Neill and fucking Angelina Jolie with fucking Denzel Washington, like in a scene, like how did this happen? You know, like how did this event come together? But Angelina Jolie plays a beat cop, and they have to give her. They literally do one scene where they say she was a model because like they just couldn't justify it in their heads.
They
were like,
though.
how could she be a cop?
Right, like they never bothered to explain like how many movies did Arnold play a guy named like Tom Tucker?
Yeah. Where it's like,
it's fine.
They're all
Nobody
beautiful.
cares. Yeah.
This is a movie. It's a Hollywood film.
Right.
Yeah,
But they had decided, like, Angelina Jolie, no, it's just, we can't.
Can't have
She
that.
can't just be a beat cop. That's weird.
Like Street Fighter didn't bother to explain why U.S. Colonel Guile has a thick French accent. Like,
No, why would they?
Why would they need to? I do think one thing movies are also missing, just based on this trailer, is car chases where a line of cars goes over a slight hill, and they all catch a little bit of air.
Oh yeah.
and then drop down. Not enough of that
coolest.
anymore.
We used to do that.
Coolest.
We used to do that. We used to be a proper country. Is what
Yeah.
we used to do.
I feel like I don't know. Car chases, they definitely have gotten more advanced. And like your average movie, they can now strap the cameras to the cars and do these like wild sequences. But yeah, sometimes you just need one of those like long lens, far away shots of a car jumping an LA street. That says it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
tells me everything I need to know.
Need to be awesome. There's a reason Bullet came out 50 years ago. And people still look at that car chase. Sometimes you just need an awesome car chase. I don't know.
I also have to note that Tom Atkins is in this movie.
He is.
And,
this movie is
Dennis
full
Farina.
of. I was about to say this movie is full of cop actors.
Yeah, what do you think was their like old Milwaukee budget on the set? Like how many like PBRs were drank? Like Tom Sizemore, Dennis Farina, Tom
1 million.
Atkins.
Andre
Easy.
Brower's in this.
Andre Brower is in it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, this movie is out of control.
This movie has an incredible cast, and I wish I could. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil who the killer is, but the killer is another one where you're like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, that's great. It feels like there would be like a literal pissing contest on set because it's like also Bruce Willis is the head of all this. It's just such fucking gruff motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got to see this movie.
Yeah.
It's
I gotta see it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's I remember it being a totally serviceable 90s crime thriller.
Nice. This next one, I gotta say, I just have no interest in.
The Program?
The Program. I don't watch sports movies unless I'm forced to. Don't get me wrong. I love Omar Epps. I love Halle Berry. I love James Caan. I love 90s hair.
Chip
but
Shrek. You love Chip Shrek, don't you?
Wait, who's Chip Shrek?
Chip Shrek is Max Shrek's son in Batman Returns.
Oh, that's Chip Shrek.
the really jacked dude is Chip Shrek, yeah.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this is from the director of Down Periscope, so, and King Ralph. So, like, part of me wants to see it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And Major League. But what is this? What's going on here? Is it just it's just football?
Yeah, it's a college football movie.
And they're just
Standard. I think it's just like the problems that like young football players have in their lives and on the field, and I assume they get through it and win the big game.
Me too.
That would be nice for them.
So this is why I don't like most sports movies, because it's such a most sports movie, and I'm not saying all. There are a lot of great, and obviously there's a lot of good sports movies, but sometimes it feels so binary where it's like they're gonna win or they're gonna lose, and then they're gonna learn something, and that's sort of
like
it.
the sort of crux of the plot is like the game, right? There are the two options, and it's like, okay, well, there's only so many times you can.
That's why a lot of sports movies don't do that, and I tend to like those movies when I watch them.
This one, as I recall, I haven't seen this one in probably 30 years either, but this one is more like following the different players as they enter college football, and it's less about like winning the big game and more about like what the college football program does to these kids as they're struggling to succeed or accomplish their dreams and stuff. Like there's like I remember
like school too, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I remember
Got Game like that too. I remember that. I only watched that movie once, but I remember that being very good.
Yeah.
And it was about recruiting. That's what it was. It was about recruiting this kid.
Like
Did you?
It's kind of similar.
Well,
I haven't seen He Got Game in forever either, but.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought that one was about kind of like the pressures of your leaving high school and all these, like in that case, it's about like a guy I believe who's really good, and all these colleges are like courting him is the idea. But again, I haven't seen that in a while. So you're saying this is kind of like that?
Well, he's being like recruited by Denzel, who's in prison for murder, right? Isn't that He Got Game?
And he's solving crimes with Angelina Jolie.
I can't remember.
I don't know. I saw that like fucking once.
Yeah, it's.
I remember liking it, but
it's a little bit different because it's like He Got Game's about one character, but this is about like an ensemble,
right? And it's about kind of.
And it's more about like He Got Game is I think more about like different kinds of pressure dynamics, and this is more specifically about the college football program.
Right, and so this is why this is why I'm not fair to most sports movies, because even this, it sounds like it's not really about the sports. It's just that the trailers always make it seem like it is, but this seems like it's actually just about the people.
Yeah, like I know
the pressure.
I do remember that Chip Shrek ruins his life with steroids in this movie. Like he ends up fucking blowing his career up because he does so many steroids. Like I remember that in the program.
Right. What's his actual name? It's
Andrew something. I forget. It's like a Polish last name that I always mispronounce.
He was also in Hudson Hawk as Butterfinger.
Brynjarski. Andrew Brynjarski.
Oh,
there he is. He's on Firefly. Yeah.
Yeah, he played Leatherface in one of the Texas
He sure
Chainsaw
did.
remakes.
Yeah, the Michael Bay ones.
Good on him.
Right.
Good on him.
So
what a career.
The program. It's
The
fine.
program. All right.
It's kind of like Blue Chips. I have both of those movies in the same Rolodex in my brain. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the main event then. What was number one on this weekend? Why, it was The Good Son, obviously.
Obviously.
Have we all seen The Good Son?
Of course, Dave.
You starring the star of the Some More News movie, Macaulay Culkin. Yeah, I've seen The Good Son.
From the director of The Forgotten.
Sure.
This, I think, and I've watched this movie fairly recently, and it's not just because he's a friend of the show. I think this movie rules.
Oh,
So do I. So do I.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember it being pretty good.
It's,
You watch it and
it's like haunting.
Yeah. What are the odds that you have two huge actors as children, Elijah Wood and Macaulay
Powerhouse
Culkin?
child actors. They're both really, really good in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just doing what is essentially a 90s thriller, where it's it feels like any other 90s thriller, like Cat and Mouse.
It's the hand that rocks the cradle.
Yeah,
almost.
but they're children.
Yeah.
And that is such a bold thing to do. And they must have known right away, we really have to do this right. Because otherwise, and I remember this being so fucking edgy at the time. Oh my God, Home Alone?
I was forbidden from seeing it, so I got the novelization. And the novelization kind of it disturbed me. Because he drowns his little brother. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Spoilers, he explodes like a fucking tremor. On the rocks.
God, yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God.
He gets tremored. He
sure
gets
does.
tremored at the end.
Oh, I must have blocked that out or something.
Yeah, spoilers. His own mother, I believe.
His own mom
murders
she has to pick between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
She
picks Elijah
chooses
Wood.
The Good Son.
Yeah, who is not it's like a cousin or something, right?
It's his cousin, yeah.
Yeah.
His Elijah Wood's mother has just passed away after a battle with cancer.
Yeah.
And
I
so
would
he's
argue-
staying with his aunt while his dad, who is David Morse, I believe.
Yeah.
Either his dad is David Morse or Macaulay's dad is David Morse. But anyway, David Morse is in this movie.
Yeah. Of course.
The point is David Morse is there, right? His dad goes up and does something, so he's staying with his aunt and his uncle and his cousin, Macaulay Culkin. And and it's Macaulay Culkin just gaslights him the entire time he's there because he's a psychopath.
Yeah, it's a very irresponsible premise, which is, what if a kid just sucks? What if a kid's just
What if
evil?
an evil kid? Yeah.
It's bad seed. It's bad seed.
Yeah, and it's what do you do? Well, you kill it.
Right,
Kill that
what if
kid.
you have a kid that tortures animals? You kill that kid. You shove
Yeah.
him
You
onto,
drop that kid
onto
off
a pile
a
of
mountain.
rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw him in the
all
ocean.
right.
Throw him in the ocean.
Maybe not right away, but if you
No,
have to
you
choose between
Mufasa
him and
that
a
kid.
better kid, I just want to note that the woman in this is the fucking commissioner in The Naked Gun, and that's just the only two things I know her from, and that's neither here nor there. But this is also I can't imagine this must have been so fun to shoot as a kid. How old do you think they were? Was it the kind of thing? Was it The Shining where the kid didn't even know it was a horror movie? Or do you think they must have had to explain?
They're in every scene, and
they got to be 12-ish. They're probably old enough to know about
13,
taking a life.
Looks
Yeah.
like filmed in 92, 93, whatever.
Yeah. God damn, I want to watch this movie now.
Yeah, they would
If
have
people
had
haven't seen The Good Son,
it's pretty good.
Go see it. It's really good. I mean, again, I haven't seen it in probably more than a decade.
Yeah.
But
it's like
It's a hit.
I've seen it in the last 5 years or so. I know that.
it's surprisingly dark. I mean, obviously it's
It's-
dark for the premise that it is, but it like goes further than you would expect.
Right, and
Yes.
again, a lot of hype at the time because let me see where he was. Like, had he done like Home Alone 2
1
yet?
and 2 at this point.
He
Yeah.
had done 1 and 2. My goodness, looking at his IMDb, there's fucking some more news.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. He had done Home Alone. He had done My Girl, Home Alone 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was,
I think
was-
he just had like
He was just about to get even with Dad.
getting even
but,
with Dad
yeah.
and Richie Rich. I think is all he had left after this before he kind of quit for a while.
Oh man,
Elijah had Forever Young, Radio Flyer under his belt. The Witness, The Adventures of Huck Finn. Man, he did so many things when he was a kid.
That Huck Finn movie I really liked. I need to revisit that and
I
see
need
if
to
it's.
revisit it,
It
too.
was
I
the
remember.
it was the Disney one. I remember liking it,
Yeah.
but maybe it's racist.
It could also be very, very bad.
It is a Huck Finn movie from the 90s.
Written by the writer of The Mummy.
Oh, Stephen
Where?
Summers?
Yeah.
oh shit.
Oh,
All right.
And Mark Twain.
and Mark.
But, you know,
Mostly
Well,
Stephen
yeah.
Summers. Mostly
But
the
I
Mummy
think
guy.
we can give a lot of the
Mark
credit to
Twain
Stephen
helped.
Summers.
We know where all the good ideas came from.
Oh man, the good son.
Man. Should we thank some producers, Dave?
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry, I'm just like dwelling on this
Really
film.
dwelling
Yeah,
on the
it's
good
really
just
son,
living
man.
in it
September
like a
Everybody go see it.
1993.
Yeah.
The hit.
All right. Let's thank some more producers. Big thank you to Deborah's awesome, Barbara's great, and Cancer Can Go to Hell. Thank you. Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Driftless yelled hype as he
Thank
burst through a window. Thank you to E.T., the extravagant terresticle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Evil at 209.
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Funky J Mostly Comes Out at Night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net. Issue 3 is out now. Gorge yourself on our fiction Gorge.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jay, the Crow Baron Ka.
Thank you. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mom on a podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you to Mabel. Step on me. Step on me.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick chill. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Tell Your Wife how many Patreon subscribers you have before you agree to buy a house.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Rob Ritchie.
Thank you.
Thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream and Space McNulty.
Oh yeah. All right. We got some news stories. We just a follow up because we mentioned this last week. Drew Barrymore and Bill Maher decided not to scab.
Yeah.
You know?
After both doubling down on their decisions
Yeah.
to scab.
Yeah.
God.
And they were like, we thought about it for a bit, and for no other reason, we decided not to.
We got
Bill Maher
double
tried
bullied.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Maher tried to say like, oh, they're doing negotiations again, so there's no need. Like he tried to do it in a way where, like Drew Barrymore at least was like, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I would still argue like, yeah, you should have figured that out earlier.
Yeah.
But better late than never. Bill Maher is like, I didn't do it for any other reason, but there's a development.
It's
He had to.
transparent, embarrassing.
Yeah, he had to do it in a way. I don't even know if it was his idea. Like if they were like,
wait, to not do it.
yeah, like I could see producers coming to him and being like,
probably,
listen, we're not doing it, but you can
Well, I think
make it
part
sound
of
like
it-
it was your idea.
Probably, and like who knows, maybe, but like think part of it probably is that like you can't get people to want to be a guest on your show, right?
Right.
Like if you're gonna scab, but you have a show that has like actors and all these people who are like involved in politics, they're not gonna want to support you doing that. So
Right.
you're gonna have trouble getting good people to actually be on the show. And then what are you gonna do? You're just gonna like improvise
And who's
complain
gonna-
about wokeness for an hour? Like
Who's going to
Yeah.
buy ads for it, too?
Right. Who's going to watch it?
Yeah, it's like, well, Coke doesn't want to sponsor your show, Drew, because they don't want to get yelled at online.
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a silly thing. And then, of course, like seeing the tweets and the blue check marks, like when he first When Bill Maher first said he was going to do it, everybody was like, "Good for you! You show those writers these like fucking weirdos." And now they're like, "Yeah, good on you, Bill, for being
take that other writers."
It's just really funny, like the weird little blue check mark reactions.
It's hardly even worth mentioning Twitter anymore.
Oh, for sure.
Right, because he's going to lock it behind a paywall in a week. It's just funny that he's winnowed it down to just the people who will root for faceless, soulless corporate entities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as long as they have like the proper cultural signifiers. But even then, they're like very vague, and it's just like, well, will the left be mad at this? Then I think it's awesome. Wait, will the left be mad at this instead? Well, never mind then.
As long as it hurts people that I don't like, I support it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's very silly.
I also like just the idea of like, there's no end in sight, so we're going back. Now that there's negotiations on the table, we're gonna stay on strike. No, Bill, you stay on strike so that negotiations will happen. Like what? There's like no actual like even internal logic for doing either choice.
It's completely nakedly self-serving, and the excuse of like it's so complicated. No, it's not.
It's not.
I mean, it is, but like this isn't complicated.
Not in the way that he's talking about.
Right, bringing back a whole show like this, not that complicated.
Yeah.
There was people speculating, and I don't know. I'm sure Bill Maher didn't think this, but also I can't imagine how bad his show would be without writers. Like his show's already bad, but it's like, I'm just gonna go up there and like riff, and I'm imagining producers being like thinking about it for a second, being like, we can't do this. We can't do this.
That's actually why they canceled it. Is they did one day of filming with Bill Maher just winging it, and they're like, we gotta wait till we have writers.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah,
right?
This is all very racist and unusable.
And also like not in the way that like when like Conan did his show, where it was like, see how bad it is on purpose because we don't have writers. No, Bill's just like, this is not good.
Yeah, this is.
You're not making a point, and it's not good. So
I've had to write my own material since 1994.
Oh man. Oh, Bill Maher.
He sucks. He sucks so much.
Speaking of stuff, they're making a Paranormal Activity stage play, and I just needed to shout this out because like,
and also a Stranger Things stage play.
Okay, so that I get.
Prequel.
What is this? Just people sleeping? Like
what is that going to be? Yeah,
what is that going to be? Is the audience like
of Paranormal Activity is us watching their security cameras while they sleep?
Yeah, Paranormal Activity. I've seen every single one.
Same.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Some of them actually have some moments where I'm like, that was pretty good. For the most part, though, they completely rely on. Like basically every movie is one of those YouTube videos where it's like stare at the screen until the thing jumps at you. Yeah, it's a lot of people just being very quiet for long amounts of time, and then someone essentially popping a balloon, and it's like as a stage play, like what is that?
Yeah.
Here's my guess. Oh no, you guys say.
Well, I feel like it of any like movie in, I don't even know if Paranormal Activity is like its own genre, but like that does seem appropriate for a stage play because it is these static shots in my mind, right? Like, okay, you build a bedroom on stage and then you just have a couple, like the appropriate way to approach this was to write like a story about a couple, right? Like here's their relationship, here are the problems they have in their relationship, and we're going to write a story about that. And then we're going to infuse these like moments of like scaring you into that. But it's going to be more like an intimate, like
that was
just a couple stage like set.
Actually, now that we're talking about it, the more I think about it, a Paranormal Activity stage play could be really good.
Oh no! That's what I was going to say. I think it might be better than the movies. The other thing about Paranormal Activity is that it's all found footage, which is the opposite of a stage play. So what I think might have happened is I think some writers were like writing this play with a demon. They're like, I think we accidentally wrote a Paranormal Activity, and they're like, well, we can get the rights. Like that's what it feels like. It's probably, since they can't just have them sleep on, it's probably like takes place in a bedroom, and it's about a demon, and it's probably like way more dialogue than the movies. You like?
It's like a play, like a very personal sort of story of like a couple or like a family or whatever with a demon. And it's not. Yeah, it's like
I do
very
like
dialogue-based, yeah.
my version where they're just in bed sleeping and the audience is sitting there like, I don't know what I expected. I guess they got my money for
And then like
this.
every 30 minutes, there's just like this,
Somebody in a sheet comes out.
Every now and then, there's like a mistake show where the cast just actually falls asleep, and like the ghost comes out and like they don't react, and they're like, ah, shit. Yeah, I'll see.
I'd watch that
Sign
too.
me up. Yeah,
I'd watch either version, the good version or this other good in a different way version.
for sure. Some final news. Just continuing this story, Elemental is now the top streaming movie on Disney
Hell yeah.
Plus. Yeah,
Elemental success story.
This
Story
was
of the year.
God.
yeah, this was a bomb at the box office, and
yeah.
like it's like Disney relearning that a lot of their movies succeeded on home video. That's why they had those like VHS, those amazing little VHS sets. Like kids' movies are generally things you put on a loop for your child,
Right.
more than you go to a theater.
The reason they got to remake The Lion King and make $1.5 billion is because of home video. It's because there was a generation of kids that wore that VHS out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
And
also didn't Elemental only like bomb like in the first 2 weeks?
right. The problem is,
It had better second and third weekends.
Like when
I
it
think.
left the theaters, it
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
no,
it
this
got-
made a lot
yeah.
of money. It was like
For
a
sure.
success. Yeah.
the problem is that like their current model is the opposite, right? I think what they're realizing, hopefully, is that like the model where it's like it has to just do amazing at the box
Right,
office
it has
to make
one
money.
opening weekend and then it's on
Instantly, yeah.
streaming 4 weeks later.
Yeah, that is like fundamentally the
Unsustainable.
opposite of how most kids movies succeed, where it's like The Land Before Time. I don't think they got their money for that movie for the theaters. They got it from a generation of kids being traumatized on VHS.
Right.
Similarly, that movie Crater that got pulled off of Disney Plus, cult movies are the same, right? Where it's like they get big later, and like, yeah, the model is just clearly not.
Yeah, you just don't give these movies opportunities to be successful.
They don't get to make money,
and
that
like the
way.
marketing is usually not necessarily representative of the movie too. So like your marketing isn't like setting it up for success, and your actual model of like distribution is not setting up for success. So unless you have like the Barbenheimer effect, you're not going to have a successful movie because you don't even give them time. People aren't like, yeah, people like to go to the movies, but they're not like clamoring to go every weekend.
Yeah.
So like if a movie doesn't do well in one weekend, it's like, well, then people might see it later. Just let them have the time to do that.
It's really, streaming is like, it's a business model that I feel like we just figured out too late. Was like, it's like owning a store that rents out chewing gum. Like it's like a business model that when you after you do it, you're like, wait, none of this works. And they're like locked into it. And like Elemental just seems like a good example of that, where it's like, imagine if this was a rental situation, like they'd get so much money off of Elemental.
Yeah, and
but
there'd be no copies at any store you go to.
Right, but top streaming on movie on Disney Plus, what does that mean? You know, it's like, oh yeah, it's like
meaningless.
$6.99
It's a
a
meaningless
month.
metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, yeah, the best fucking, like, the coldest turd on the pile of steaming turd.
Right,
Yeah.
and like
All right.
for
Excellent.
Disney, they're like, who cares? You know, like it's not getting people signing up more. You know, it's
Right.
that's the only way they can make more money, that they can have this growth that they want. Yeah, it's silly.
It's really bad. It's all
That is funny, yeah. Like, top streaming, well, so the people that subscribed to your service already saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
here's what-
a bunch of people watched a big new movie on your streaming service the week you put it on there. Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Exactly,
not
yeah.
surprised it was the top thing on Disney
Right.
Plus.
Like I'm
last week.
imagining the people behind the movie are like excited, and meanwhile Disney is probably thinking like, this doesn't mean you get a sequel because you didn't perform where it mattered, right? Like
They
we
may delete
needed
the fucking
Elemental.
movie from the app before the end of the year, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Fucking
They
madness.
love doing that shit.
That movie you mentioned, Crater, and the Willow show they made existed
Willow
for
show.
a matter of months. They didn't
Yeah.
even exist for 12 months before they
I was like-
deleted both of those things.
I was excited for the Willow show, and I was just like, I'm gonna get around to it.
Yep.
It's not going anywhere, right? And sure enough, I can't fucking believe that. It's so weird.
It's not.
What a
Yeah,
dumb time.
Movies are cooked.
Yeah, movies are.
they really are cooked. They're cooked.
Well, let's let's keep going then.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's name some more producers.
Big thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank
you. Thank you to Numinal Ultra Microscopic Silical Volcano Coniosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones. Thank you. Thank you to pre-order TikTok superstar Jason Pargin's new book, Zoe is Too Drunk for This Dystopia. Pre-orders are super important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Do that with horses?
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Cole Meany's going to have something to say about what you're doing to those horses.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
So convenient. So
Thank
convenient.
you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight? Thank you.
All right. Let me swoop in here. Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the producer formerly known as the Ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you to the To Be Terror Bunny says support workers. Egg David Zaslav.
Thank you.
Save a couple eggs for Bob Iger too. Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux.
Tux.
Thank you to Vincent with a Y.
Thank you. Thank
you
you.
to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Thank you.
Thank you to your mom.
Thank you.
And thank you to Ziz because Pie Guy liked being last.
Thank you.
Dave.
My goodness.
Dave.
What?
Here we are
sorry.
at the end of all things, Dave.
Yeah.
We're at the intersection point of the universe. Mm-hmm. And all I need to know before we can get out of here is if you have a movie that deserves more hype.
No.
Oh, good.
I have 2 movies. So one of them we might have already.
Bastard.
One of them we might have already covered, but the full trilogy came out, and I was like, I don't know.
I know.
How
I'm very
to not.
excited.
Yeah, but let's eat our vegetables first and talk about Once Within a Time. Now, Once Within a Time is a very unique movie. It's not for everybody. It's a real get high and watch. It is coming in limited theaters October 13th. It is just like real fucking nuts. what did you guys say? This is. It's like didn't we watch that weird
I was trying to think of the name of that movie.
The Forbidden Room.
The Forbidden Room. Yeah,
it has that vibe.
Yeah.
If people know that, it's like a silent film, and it looks gorgeous and haunting, and it looks like it's like weird CGI mixed with maybe found footage, but probably originally shot stuff. Yeah. And it's like it's directed by some guy who is apparently famous, and Philip Glass does the music. This person hasn't made a movie in 10 years. What's his name? I have a feeling I'm going to really fuck up the name.
Godfrey Reggio?
Yeah, that
Reggio?
sounds like it. Yeah, it's this one's produced by Soderbergh. The last one I believe was produced by Scorsese, I want to say.
This director's last movie, you mean?
Yeah. Basically they this is I don't know, it's a post-apocalyptic movie, but it's just mostly like a very experimental fucked up movie. It's in a lot of like it's playing at a lot of like modern art places right now, but it has a limited release. The thing that's really bothering me is that everybody's picturing this movie, right? Like really cool, weird special effects, like stop motion, found footage. If you've seen The Forbidden Room, the thing that's just like itching at me is in the IMDb, the first person credited is Mike Tyson. And I like double checked to make sure it wasn't just like a guy named Mike Tyson, but it is in fact The Hangover's Mike Tyson.
So it is a guy named Mike Tyson.
No. Mike Tyson.
It's not
from The
just
Hangover.
any guy named Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Right,
it's
but
Mike
he
Tyson.
is a guy named Mike
yes,
Tyson.
But it's the Mike Tyson. And I don't know why that's happening.
That's interesting.
I don't know why he's in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why
I don't
not?
know if it's found footage, like if they used footage of Mike Tyson.
Well, right, because it doesn't appear as though there are like scenes, really.
Yeah, and he's credited as an actor, not as himself.
Right.
So that's weird, right? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I need to see it though.
Yeah, it looks really interesting, and just visually just new and incredible, and but also what's going on with it.
Right. It's two things where it's like if Mike Tyson wasn't in this, I'd still want to see it because it just looks really fucking artsy and cool and beautiful. And Philip Glass, he makes good music, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're like, and Mike Tyson's in it. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Why? Okay.
Well, roll it back a little bit. 1 second.
Mike Tyson doing anything to a Philip Glass score is like, boy, I got to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need to know why that's happening. And
really
then,
cool. Like the basic like description of the movies just seems to be it's about the end of the world and the beginning of a new one, which after seeing the trailer I'm like, all right, yeah, that's what that's about, I guess.
yeah, it's like this really it's described as a bardic fairy tale about the end of the world and the beginning of a new one. So it's like about like a cosmic change. The director also said, "You will be surprised how much your ear may see." And I was like, "Is it going to see Mike Tyson biting it? Like, what does that mean?"
That did seem like an unfortunately specific thing for him to say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's terrifying.
But I mean, it seems to say that he's going to do a lot of stuff with sound. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It looks like a piece of art. I'm not sure how much of a narrative there's going to be.
That's the thing. I like when watching it. I was like, oh, art.
Yeah,
that's nice. like that's nice for us that we're still doing that.
I don't think it's a feature length. I think it might be only like 50 minutes. But that's okay because our next one is also a piece of art, just a different type of art.
It sure is, Dave.
I'm not sure about this movie, just to be clear, but it's like I can't not talk about this movie. It's called Monsters of California. It's coming out on streaming October 6th, so you can watch it soon. It stars Casper Van Dien and Richard Kind, and it's, directed by Tom DeLonge.
Yep.
It is written and directed by Tom DeLonge.
And any guesses on what it's about? Aliens.
It's about
aliens.
a group of teens discovering a government conspiracy to cover up UFOs.
Yeah. I lost my mind when in the trailer, Blink-182.
I couldn't handle it. Oh my God.
The slowed down, moody version.
Because the trailer,
dumb little voice shows up.
The trailer lets you know right away. Tom DeLonge is like the inspiration for this movie. I didn't know he directed and wrote it actually. But like trailers like from the imagination of Tom DeLonge, which I thought was like, oh, they're just saying because it's about aliens,
right?
But man, when that first track dropped, I just what a choice. Beautiful.
It's like we get it, man. You have access to that band.
It's so good, and it is that sort of like approach to it's that trailer thing where you're like, oh, we're gonna take this like Radiohead song, but it's a choir of children are gonna sing it or whatever it is, and it's still the song. It's still Tom DeLonge singing, but like there's a vibe to it that's taking itself very seriously, and it's beautiful.
It's very funny.
If you're familiar with Blink-182, it's this. Of course, it is. It's the song "Aliens Exist."
Yeah, it's the song you think it's gonna be.
So he put the song he wrote about aliens into the movie he wrote about aliens. It's slowed down and moody. Okay.
It makes me not have faith in the movie. So I'll explain why. Remember when Fred Durst made the movie The Fanatic?
I celebrate the year, the date when Fred Durst decided to make the film The Fanatic.
That movie is like a thriller, right? And so he knew.
It's like one, yeah.
Yeah. He knew, like, for the trailer, have, like, thriller music. He didn't stick Limp Bizkit in it, right? And, like, there is a scene, counterpoint, there is a scene in The Fanatic where Devon Sawa puts on Limp Bizkit and comments of how good Limp Bizkit is.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's in this movie, The Fanatic. If you haven't seen The Fanatic, I don't want to spoil it for you. Just dive right into that nightmare. That movie's a fucking nightmare, and I love it. But point is that he knew not to put Limp Bizkit in the trailer. This doesn't feel appropriate to have Blink-182 in the trailer for Aliens. It just doesn't seem like the right tone of the movie.
It doesn't. Even though the lyrics are clearly like describing like the premise of the movie, it still doesn't feel right. It seems like a bit of a joke in not a aware in the right way. Kind of
like
way.
the trailer isn't that jokey. It's not as jokey as that song would make it seem. And it's like maybe have a scene where they're listening to it. That's funny Easter egg, obviously. But for the trailer, it's like some producer was like, we really have to play off of the Blink-182 of it all because otherwise no one's going to see this movie.
It's really because he's written a ton of other songs that are like with Angels and Airwaves, and then also on his own, that are like really kind of more broad and bigger soundscapes and stuff. Like he gets really just more atmospheric with that band. So it's like, and a number of those songs are also about the same kind of shit. So it's like, why didn't you pick one of those?
Right.
Why did you go with the pop punk song?
Yeah.
The music thing is very funny. I guess watching this trailer, if I didn't know Tom DeLonge was involved, I would be so uninterested in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it looks really generic, and like there's nothing interesting about this trailer to me, other than obviously the music involved.
Yeah,
the
trailer.
Okay, slackers, aliens, and then they take down. There's like some government guys in like smocks. It's just like doesn't seem like there's anything going on.
I feel like the trailer knew this too, because they're like literally saying it's from the imagination of Blink-182's Tom DeLonge, and it's just like, oh yeah, they really want. It's again, it's every article, everything about this is like Blink-182. It's that alien freak. He's making an alien movie. And yeah, like going on streaming, it's like perfect. I'm not going to go to a theater for this.
God, no.
I don't know. I listen, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I don't have faith in this movie that deserves more hype.
As number one Tom DeLonge superfan, I'm going to rent this movie.
Yeah.
I agree. The trailer looks not very good. There's no personality in it whatsoever. Like there's like nothing. It doesn't convey any sort of personality.
It has that color, that Netflix color scheme. You know, the one where it's like very blue, very red.
Yes, it looks just like a very like cookie cutter, like assembly line sort of Netflix movie with the premise of like aliens and teenagers, which is, I mean, and again, proven wrong. Maybe we will all be eating crow, but you'd think if it was a Tom DeLonge movie, like it would have personality, right? Like
you would think,
that would come through a little bit, and it just doesn't seem like it. Could be a bad trailer, but
could be.
It just seems like even like the little jokes and moments of levity are like that's just a canned little line. Like that's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're definitely going to see a monster in it.
Oh yeah, there's going to be an alien.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my reasoning is because a guy is in it who has played only aliens and monsters. I'm looking at his screen. He's the predator and prey. So it's just like, that's
going to be an alien. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an alien or monster in this movie. Absolutely. And it'd be amazing if this was about how they don't exist. Like if it was just like some weird like self-loathing movie about how like no, they don't exist. I wasted my life.
Fucking knife.
No, morbid curiosity. That's why this deserves more hype. It's just like I got to see it. Obviously,
right.
It would have been the ultimate, and I'm sure he tried. But it would have been the ultimate if he got Duchovny in this movie.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, that new Pet Cemetery, that has Duchovny in it. That's all I'll say.
Sure does.
End of statement.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like got a studio behind it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna say much more. But it does have David Duchovny in it, as I believe. Isn't he the old man, but young?
He's the guy who's. Oh, he might. Well, he can't be. I thought he was.
His character's name is Bill.
I thought he was the guy who brings his son back to life, because I know that the movie is the story that Judd tells Lewis in the movie.
Oh, okay.
About like the guy whose kid got killed in Vietnam, I think. So he buried him in the pet cemetery, or in World War II or Korea.
The movie is the lot of history down that road. Like
yes. It's a movie
it's the history down that rod.
Okay.
It's one of those movies where it's like there's a reason they didn't tell this story. Like like it's one of those.
They do tell that story, and it's creepy, but like it's like the 3-minute version of that story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like there's a reason that the movie wasn't that story. That's just it's a supplemental story that you're not supposed to like make a movie about. But they're doing it, and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I might wait for you guys to watch it, and then I'll.
We probably will. Probably gonna watch it. We've watched a lot of Pet Cemetery.
Pet
on
Cemetery,
Friday
yeah.
nights. Listen, we're just mumbling about movies now, so I think that's a so.
Woo!
We've done it. Cody, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Always a joy.
Do you
Always
have
movies?
always movies? No, yeah. No, do you have anything you want to tell the world again? Like a plug again, or like just a statement?
Believe in
you know?
yourself. And don't let your failures define you.
Cool.
It's how we react and what we do in response to those failures.
I'm gonna say don't believe in yourself, just to balance it out.
Okay. So should I say don't check out my band, The Hot Shapes?
No,
So that
I
you-
won't counteract that.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, check out Some More News and Even More News and The Hot Shapes. They're all good in different ways.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You go on there. We have exclusive podcasts, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder's Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. Every Friday night we watch movies with our patrons. We got a special treat this time.
We
This
do.
night.
That's right.
We do. Yeah, because there's something we have to celebrate.
tune
Will we
in
watch
tonight.
Will we watch Pet Sematary Bloodlines at some point? Absolutely. Without
Probably.
having seen the movie, absolutely. So yeah, check it out.
We should watch
and
Pet
Warlock.
Cemetery 2 as well. Oh, yeah, and Warlock.
and
All the
Warlock.
We got to get all those Warlocks in there. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get a t-shirts, stickers, mugs, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your Pet Cemetery peepers onto that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. You can find more of his artwork at instagram.com/mvbramleyart. Our episode artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.